what Charlie Parker said is true. Learn everything, all your scales, all the music, everything, and when you go play, forget all that.
When you step on that foot on that stage, forget it all.
Yeah, just let go and from here, because music is from here.
Yeah.
It's not from here.
Julio, this Miami connection down here, so many great players. It's so exciting. It is still like it was many years ago. It's even more exciting with the energy that's going on with great music, the Latin influence. It's exciting. And you on bass are right in the middle, in the thick of it all. Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. It's great.
Now, I know that your dad was a bass player and it goes back into your family. Tell me about all the musicians that were in your family to even inspire you at that point.
Oh, well, first they're all bass players.
Everyone's bass players.
My grandfather, my two uncles, my father, my aunt, and me. My brother's a drummer. He's the black sheep.
He's the black sheep of the family.
No, he's a great drummer. He's done a lot of sessions here too.
When did you first start picking up the bass?
Believe it or not, I started playing when I was 15, 1977.
Interesting.
I heard a record, and I heard the bass, and I go, "That's a bass? Wow!" And it was Romantic Warrior, Stanley Clarke.
Yeah.
When I heard Stanley playing, I was like, "I didn't know you could do that." And then,
Beautiful.
Then my father, he played with everybody. I mean, Stephen Eady, Paul Anka, Andy Williams.
And that was in Vegas, right?
Yes.
So you moved from Cuba
We went to Cuba to Mexico.
to Mexico.
Mexico, Miami.
Interesting.
And then we were here for a little bit, then we moved to Puerto Rico.
Interesting.
And Wilfredo Reyes was there.
In Puerto Rico at the
Yes,
time.
and Alex Acuna too.
So Acuna, the Reyes family, you're all there, and then you all kind of made the move here. Well, you made the move to Vegas, right?
Yeah, the Vegas. They
Yeah.
actually moved because they got a gig in Caesars, the Barge.
Yeah.
That lounge.
And Wilfredo Reyes Sr. at the time was playing with Wayne Newton?
No, not yet.
Not yet, even
No,
before that.
No, this was '69.
Oh my gosh, how
Yeah,
amazing.
they all moved together to Vegas.
How was Vegas at that time?
It
Kind of
was-
music, right?
Oh man, the level of musicians was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I did a show because later on, because we moved back here, and then I started playing bass, and then we moved back in '79.
Right.
And I had been playing 2 years, and my dad was doing the Dunes, the Casino de Paris, but he was going out with Stephen Eady. So I had been playing for 2 years, and one day he says to me, "I need a sub that won't take my gig, and you're it." I'm like, "What?" I've only been playing 2 years.
Baptism by fire, as they
Yes.
say. Yeah.
I remember he gave me the music like 3-4 days before, and then I was 17. I mean, Don, I know what fear is.
You mentioned Stephen Eady, and for those that are watching this who don't know, Stephen Eady Gourmet were a husband and wife singing team that really had an incredible sound together.
Yes.
They were the energy. They were married for many years.
Yeah.
Eady Gourmet has passed away. Steve is still around.
Yes.
And
I saw him last year.
really,
Yeah.
and still singing great.
Yes.
Still singing great.
His son also.
And our son, yeah, absolutely. So in Vegas at that time, there were these great players. The hotels were just ripping with music everywhere.
Everywhere. And in the Union, at night, after all the gigs were done, they had what they call kicks band. And it was big bands, and guys would just go and play.
Like a jam session.
Yeah, but all the musicians in the strip would go.
And where would they meet?
In the Union.
At the Union Hall.
At the Union, there was a stage, and big bands played. And
Those are days long gone by, man. How
Actually,
exciting that must have been.
I remember a young bass player that came into town playing with Johnny Mathis. And he played there, and it's Abe Laurel. My father told me, this kid is really good.
Oh, this kid, well, Abe Laborio. I had a chance to interview him also. What an incredibly great player, what a beautiful person, what a spiritual soul.
Yeah,
and the whole family. Abe Jr. too,
Yeah,
out with Paul McCartney is incredible
Yeah,
too.
no, he's incredible. They all are. Abe is amazing.
So you really had a chance to kind of meet up with some incredible musicians at an early time. The influence that you had was amazing.
I took from everybody, and I knew Jaco. He was here in Miami. He used to go see my dad play, and that's how I met him. Then
Really?
we became friends. And he changed the way that that instrument is played.
Yeah, yeah.
He completely, and he taught me some stuff, and my father, of course, taught me so many things. And I tell people I'm going to work, so they'll know what that I'm going to be doing something. Like, but to me, it's not work.
It's not work at all.
No, it's not. And people pay me.
Well, that's the secret that we want to spread to all these people that are watching it, to understand the fact that when you're playing and doing something what you love doing, it's play, it's not work. Yeah. But yet, the hours that we put into and the studying that we put into, this is pretty serious. Were you taking lessons? Were there any other teachers that you took lessons with as far as?
I went to UNLV.
Okay.
UNLV. I had a bass teacher, but I wasn't there long with him.
Yeah. University of Las Vegas, a great, great school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mainly my dad, and then when we moved back to Vegas in '79,
yeah,
and I saw the level of musicians, it was a year and a half studying 10 hours a day.
Now think about that. A year and a half, 10 hours a day, putting some serious time into technique, into theory, into scales, into everything, right?
Yeah, because music to me is like the little things you do. It's not like, I tell people, if I play what I actually can play at a session, I would never get called back.
Yeah.
Because you got to do what's best for the song, Yeah. If it's one note, it's one note.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the note.
Yeah, yeah.
And people are gonna go, oh. Like I've been doing this Little Dreams Foundation with Phil.
Right.
Phil, and he brings Lee Sklar. And Lee's like, I'm playing, and Lee goes by, you sound so great, man. Yeah. We look like a couple, because I play and he goes, you sound amazing, man. You sound so great. And then when he plays, I go, Lee, man, you sound so great.
You and Leland Sklar together, it's like the Muppets rejoined. Absolutely, man. I had the chance to interview Leland. What a fantastic person.
Yes.
What just a dedicated artist. What a really pure soul in how he plays music. But you know everybody. This is incredible.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that they know me. Yeah, like Robbie and Michael Thompson and all that. They're like, when I met them, they were like, "You're Julio Hernandez?" I'm like, "How do you know me?" I was like, "Wow." Cool.
Well, you've been doing this for a long time. So this is very important that you, especially in the Miami scene here, you all these friends that you work with, and all the guys that we're interviewing here that were in Miami, they all know you. Your name is popped up. It comes up everywhere. It's pretty powerful when you think about how long you've been doing this and how at such a high level.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, working with Barry Gibb,
Tell me about that.
We did the Barbra Streisand album.
Well, yeah, the Streisand album you did. Tell me about when you're touring with Barry, because we had Richie in here, and of course Doug, and of course Lee on drums. Just what's that family like being on the road?
I started before they did doing sessions, and I actually met Lee in Chile, in a festival called Viña del Mar. He was with a Latin artist, and I was with another one, and we met there. And then from that tour, I got home on a Sunday, and I had to go to a session. And I get there, and it was Lee. I was like, wow, what are you doing here? So, and I hadn't actually played with him yet. But we did that session, and it was just amazing.
Yeah.
And then people would call me, hey, there's this new kid in town. You heard of him? I go, yeah, call him. Lee's amazing. And Barry, I mean, to work with Barry, it's like,
everyone just smiles. They just smile when they work with
What
Barry.
a gentleman.
And he lives here in Miami.
Yes, he does. And those songs.
All the songs that he wrote, and to play them and hear the tour, the mythology tour that I know Carlos Gutzman, who's been involved with the production, is incredible. Keeps me informed of what's happening. You guys have played everywhere with him.
Yeah. And I've gotten to travel quite a bit with different Latin artists, big artists.
What was it like doing the Barbra Streisand album?
Surreal, because my uncle was also a bass player.
Yeah.
He loved Barbra. And he passed away in 2001.
Wow.
My father too. Wow. Same year. And when I got called for that, I was like, oh my God, my uncle would be so proud. We recorded it here, the rhythm tracks, and then Barry did the vocals with John Merchant.
Yes.
Which John Merchant was the one who called us for the session.
Interesting.
If John wouldn't have called, we would, at least I would not play with Barry or anything like that. So John Merchant is like, he's the guy who set everything up.
Boy, there's some core guys down here that really are so influential in what they do with all the musicians that are here. What's it like the scene down here? I mean, this really is kind of a hidden treasure. I say that because a lot of people don't know about the Miami energy that's here musically. It's,
You know
it's
what's
powerful.
What's great about it is my dad always told me, don't criticize a style of music until you can play it really well. Then when you can really play it, you say, oh, I don't like it. And it's funny because my dad played with Diana Ross.
Beautiful.
And we toured with, he took us on tour in Europe. I was 11, you know. I remember Holland, that's the way I grew up. In Holland at 10 in the morning, Diana coming, and I'm taking a picture of her. She sits down next to me, takes her camera, and takes, let me take a picture of you. You know, that's how I grew up. But they did a live album at Caesars, and my brother found it, and he got it, and I heard it the other day. And I'm hearing my father play the last part of Ain't No Mountain High Enough.
Yes.
And he's doing, it's like a Latin thing at the end. Because here, I mean, we play Cuban music, salsa, merengue, Colombian vallenato, you know, all these different styles of playing Latin. And then what my father taught me is how to incorporate it into the American. So it gives it a completely different flavor, different sound.
Fantastic.
And I remember him telling me that, and when I heard that album, like maybe 2 weeks ago, I hear him doing this thing at the end, and I go, oh my God, and it sounds amazing. It sounds,
So here's this tune, Ain't No Mountain High Enough.
and
Yeah,
it's like, at the end. I'm like, oh my God. I can just imagine the other musicians looking at him like, wow, what's that?
what a story you have with the musicians that you've grown up with the influence of your family. Listen, it's one thing about family being involved with musical ways. It's another thing about the family being involved in one instrument. Everybody playing bass.
Oh, my.
You mentioned your aunt also plays bass.
She played bass.
Yeah.
She actually went with an all-woman band in 1934, I think, to Atlantic City.
Incredible.
Yeah, because it was my grandfather, which he stopped playing, and he started doing tobaccos because he made more money.
Yeah, wow.
But they used to have the 5 basses set up against the wall, and they'd be eating and talk about music, and all of a sudden the discussion would come up on how to play a certain thing, and they would all go to the bass. No, you do it like this. No, it's like it's like 5 basses going on at the same time.
Oh
And
my
my dad and my uncle and I did this. We did that. We used to do that. My father told me, you know, teach me how to slap, and I'll teach you how to play jazz. That's it. Perfect. And he played amazing jazz.
Well, in the era that he grew up with, it was really predominant to play jazz music at that time, probably, right?
My father was in a group in Cuba that was actually the beginning of Latin jazz. It was I think it was recorded in 1956, something
Boy,
like that.
those are the years with jazz. You listen to Cuban jazz.
Yeah.
There's some serious playing.
It came out of this group.
Yeah.
They incorporated the Latin music with the jazz, you know, chords and
Beautiful.
so that's where Latin jazz actually originated.
Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. You know, I was in Cuba in 2000,
Oh, cool.
and I was down there in Havana playing, and to hear the musicians that are there, they're just so natural. They're just so great. They're so honest. They're so unopposing. Everyone's great,
Yeah.
but everyone's that way. Everyone's just great.
Yeah, there's some great musicians.
You grew up with that. That's
My
really
cousin is a drummer, Horacio Negro.
Horacio's your cousin?
Yeah. He's
Horacio, I've known Horacio for
Another
years.
Hernandez.
Another Hernandez.
We're everywhere.
I'm actually going to be with Horacio. We're doing a festival together
Oh, cool.
in February of next year in Vancouver.
Oh, wow.
And Horacio's on it with me, so I'll be able to make sure I tell him that
Yeah.
we got
That
together
one.
again.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Well, again, Horacio, here's another one that came, well, actually, from Cuba to Italy.
Yes.
To America. He kind of came in
Yes.
from.
My brother actually met him. I actually saw him for the first time. But my brother played with Sandoval for like 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
And they met in Italy.
You're everywhere.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I mean, I love what I do. It's like my father, he was 71 when he got sick. And I had to call him. He was on tour with Stephen Eady.
Yeah.
And I told him, you got to come home.
Yeah.
But he was playing.
What a blessing.
Yes.
You think about it. What an absolute gift and a blessing that
It
is to do what you love doing right to the end.
He said, I'm a perfectionist. Like when I do sessions,
Yeah.
like Lee and them, when they first saw me, like, you're not going to listen to what you play? I go, no. I know if I mess up, I ask to punch in.
Yeah.
If I feel it's good, that's it. Then I leave. I don't listen to it.
Good for you.
I don't, because I'm a perfectionist. I'll be there a week.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, listen. There's a blessing and a curse with that.
Yeah.
In the process. The blessing is you're going to give 100% all the time.
Yeah, always.
The curse is that 100% is hard to judge sometimes. You want to judge it again and do it again and go back.
Yeah, like I would come home from doing sessions just exhausted. I mean, and it wasn't like I was there a long time. It's just you give so much.
Yeah,
It's like you give everything. At least I do when I play. Everything I have goes into what I'm doing.
Beautiful.
Always.
Beautiful. What music are you listening to now? Is there anything that you're listening to now that's inspiring you?
I keep listening to the old stuff because it's like everybody was so, it was so new and everybody was actually playing. Like, you know, like the like Weather Report and all that. It's like I hear that stuff and I'm like, oh my God.
What a different time that was, right? You know, and I like the listeners to
Those
understand
guys are
that.
like rock. They're like rock stars. I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
I went to go see Weather Report in a big place here.
Yeah.
It was packed. Al Di Meola was the opening.
Al Di Meola, the opening act for Weather Report.
Yeah.
Al
And
is a phenomenal player.
we went because Alex. Actually, I got a funny story. I had been playing for maybe a year, and Weather Report came into town, and Alex called my dad, and Alex and Manolo Badrena came to the house.
Yeah, in the band with Weather Report playing together. Yeah.
With Alex playing drums, Manolo percussion.
Yeah.
And when Heavy Weather came out, and they came over to the house for dinner and all that, and then my father was talking. Oh no, you know, Julio's playing bass, and they're like, oh yeah, let's hear you play. And I'm like, are you crazy? I'm not gonna play. I mean, I haven't played for a year. I was like, you know, no. Like, but later on in Vegas with, oh my God, with at Walfredo's house, it was Walfredo, Danny, Luis Conte. It was drums and percussion and me. And then Walfredo looks at me and goes, okay, start un tumbao. Un tumbao is like a bass line. Yeah. And I'm like, what? You know, I was a kid. You got to start it. The bass is the important thing. You got to. So I started, and then they go off, and I'm like doing, you know, that's the kind of school I came from.
But what on-the-job training? I mean, this is really how you learn. You know, they're throwing you into the deepest part of the ocean.
Exactly.
And you're swimming.
Yeah, they threw me, and I had to swim. My father threw me at the dunes, and Wilfredo there, but that's how, like the old guys, the old school, they were like that.
But that's important, like you said, to listen to some of the old school music. There was a certain purity about that. Before all the electronic stuff got in, before all that stuff happening, you had to really play your instrument and know your instrument well, and you had to communicate with that and be compassionate.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of qualities that were involved with that.
And play with everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you're having a conversation with all these. It's like us talking right now. You say something, I say, and then maybe you'll say something that'll take me another place.
Right.
And playing's the same way, you know. That's a beautiful thing. I mean, you know, with live players, you don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just like magic. It's like, wow.
But that's the conversation of music as the language. Yeah. It's such a beautiful language, and listen, it reaches people in every corner of the world.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And with what you're doing, with all the different music you're playing, it's every corner of the world that's hearing you playing. So I mean, you're influencing many, many people with that.
It's funny, you know, because I don't see me like that, and it's funny when I go travel and people, musicians, tell me, "Oh, you're Julio." Yeah. I'm like, "Yeah." You know, when I met Lee Sklar, he knew who I was. I was like, "Wow." How
amazing, right?
It was great because I'm, you know, Miami. I'm not in LA. We did live in LA for 2 years. My father was with Herb Alpert, Tijuana Brass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Redondo Beach.
Boy, I lived in Redondo many, many years ago. It was a beautiful area. Herb Alpert, the Tijuana Brass. What an incredible band that was. I was very influenced by them many, many years ago. I had a band actually that was a kind of a Herb Alpert type of band many years ago on the North Shore of Long Island where I was from. And just
Steve Schaefer was the drummer.
Steve Schaefer played drums, right, absolutely. And Nick Ceroli played drums for a while there. And the recordings for Herb Alpert was Hal Blaine from the Wrecking Crew. Right. So all these musicians were kind of, but Herb Alpert, an incredible producer too, what he went on to do.
And Lanny Hall, oh my God, what nice people.
Absolutely.
People. And my brother and I would sometimes go to the rehearsals. And we would, like, we were kids, you know. We would run around A&M studios, you know, playing tag. One time we got to this door, and my brother opens the door, and all these gold and platinum records, and we're like, and we look at the Carpenters. What's that?
Boy, what a wonderful youth to have, to grow up at that level of...
In Lake Tahoe, Ron Foyer?
Yes, yeah.
He played with my dad
Wow.
for years with Paul Anka.
See, these are names, when these names are
Ron's
mentioned...
an amazing player.
Absolutely, man. And Paul Anka, is still out on the road hitting it hard,
Yeah.
what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing to have these
I
players
got to
that
record with him.
Really?
Yes. My dad played with Paul for years. And then Emilio Stefan, he was doing a production with that Roberto Gatica was producing at Emilio's studio across the moon.
Right.
And it was Paul, and it was with Celine Dion and different, and I had worked with Humberto with Julio Iglesias, La Carretera. So he called me to do some tracks.
Nice.
And it was amazing. I mean, I'm like recording for Paul Anka, and I'm like, oh my God, I remember in Lake Tahoe, Ron's son, Ronnie,
Yeah.
and me jumping on Paul's bed, waking him up. and then I remember I took a break and I went outside, and when I go outside, Paul comes up. And he looks at me and goes, Julio? Julito? And I go, how do you know? How do you remember me? And so it was like, oh my God.
There's a book inside of you somewhere that needs you're gonna have to kind of start organizing this and put this together.
Well, there's other stories I can't tell you.
That might make the book sell more, so that might be a whole other
When I don't want to play anymore or retire, I'll tell you some sort of the stories.
The stories in the music industry are always magical. People doing what they love doing, living their passion, pushing themselves to a high level, every performance. It's amazing. Even out with Barry, when you guys are touring, every performance is at such a high level.
To have somebody like Barry, like we did Glastonbury.
That's a huge show.
Yeah, it was like 160,000.
160,000 people in Glastonbury Festival, which is huge.
When he was presenting the band, when he came, Lee, and he came to me and Julio on bass, and he turns around and he said something. I didn't hear him on stage. I didn't. But in the video, because people told me, did you hear what he said? I go, no. And then I had to watch it. He turns around and goes, and Julio on bass, he goes, incredible.
Shit.
Barry Gibb. I grew up with this.
But think about the life that you have. You grew up listening to these musicians, being inspired by them, and now you're on stage with them.
Yeah.
This is the American dream at its best.
Yeah, it
At
is.
its best, Julio, because you have these young musicians that are watching this that want to follow that path.
Being on stage with Barry, playing "How Deep Is Your Love," it's like, actually in rehearsal once I got lost playing because I started singing. I was like, oh, that's right, I gotta still play.
You became a fan for a moment.
Yeah, because I mean, and all the songs, it was like, I grew up with that.
They're all classic.
It's just like, because what I first started listening to was fusion, believe it or not. Because I got introduced, my brother was a drummer, he's older than me, and his friends were his age. So I would play with them. I'm 3 years younger.
Yeah.
But I started listening, most kids started, listening to rock or whatever, not me. I started with, Return of Forever, Brand X, with Phil Collins.
Phil Collins with Brand X,
Yeah, and Weather Report, and Dimiola, Jean-Luc Ponty. So that's what I started hearing.
Yeah.
That's what I played first, before anything.
Boy, so again, what your dad said, you learned the style really well and you moved on and graduated to other styles, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, he was right. Because you could actually incorporate everything you learned from all these into whatever you're playing. And it makes it sound completely different.
Yeah.
Even for musicians listening to it, they're like, wow, how did he come, why is he doing that? Where did that come from?
Yeah.
And it's like something that maybe was done in Cuba, in the 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
But it works for this. And that's what I did. And like I got stuff from Jocko, from Nathan, from Neil.
Neil Stubbenhaus, how great a player he is, right? Another phenomenal player.
He's an amazing guy.
Yeah.
He did a track with Take 6. I told him, Neil, that's probably one of the best bass tracks ever.
Yeah. Take 6, what a great vocal
Yeah.
group this, and to play with them, you've got to be at a real high level because musicians are fantastic.
But Neil's amazing. Always has been incredible bass player. I mean, there are a bunch of guys. Lee, Lee. I love Lee Sklar. I love it.
Well, it's amazing. Just in these interviews, I've had Lee Sklar, I've had Nathan East, Billy Sheehan. We've had so many bass players. Nate Watts. I mean, it's just so exciting to see Darryl Jones, who's from Miles Davis, now playing with the Stones, Rolling Stones. It's amazing to see how, just from your instrument, how many great bass players there are.
But that's a great thing. I mean, it's like like Darryl, Miles, Rolling Stones.
How do you even figure
it's
that
here
out?
And here.
Yeah, totally.
And that's what I love about that musicians. We do. I can do a salsa, and then I can do Barry Gibb.
Yeah.
I can do a cumbia, like Colombian music, and then go play rock. My brother and I with some friends have like an '80s rock band. We just do to have fun.
Yeah.
And we play that stuff, and that's a musician.
Yeah.
To me, my father taught me that's a musician. You can play all styles of music.
Yeah.
And that's what I've tried to do.
Well, what great lessons you had from your family. I mean, these are fantastic lessons that they teach this, and maybe even not so much in universities. I mean, what you got was a high-end university, knowledge, just from inside your family.
Yeah. No,
Who can say that?
No, I don't. I was fortunate. My dad, and also my uncle, in Cuba, amazing. I mean, I'll tell you a quick story about my dad in Vegas.
Yeah.
When we moved back in '79, I've been playing 2 years, and I didn't read that well. And one of the bands at the Union, they never rehearsed, but this band rehearsed. They had a rehearsal because the book was really hard, was difficult. So I go with my dad, and they call it a tune. It was, the chart was like this. I mean, he pulled it out. I'm looking at him. So, and then Jim Trimble, trombone player, I never forget his name. He counted. I go, okay, ready, guys, ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm like, you seen fish like in a freezer with the eyes open? That's what I look. I was like, and my dad is reading everything, and he's looking at me, and he's doing this, like he knows I'm lost, and he's, and he just destroyed the chart. The song ends, and the whole band applauds him. And I looked at him and I said, Papi, in Spanish, you played this song before, right? He goes, no, it's pretty nice, huh? Pretty cool.
Boy, what a lesson.
So
what a lesson.
After that was when the year and a half, 10 hours a day studying.
Yeah. But what an influence. What an influence to have that level of discipline and standard that was presented to you at a young age to be passed down. And the history now within your family, as this is passed down now, you have that responsibility now to pass that down. In the name of your family, of what it is. Really. It's beautiful.
I try. I mean, he was an amazing musician, amazing bass player. Alex Acuna in 2009 called me to do this thing for NAMM, Gumbubs. It was just him and I.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that because he had never really heard me play. He was, session bass players have the best sound. They always have the best sound. And the feel, and he started talking about Abe and my father, and it just, I don't know, it's something, I don't know
what a history.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And I grew up with Alex and Wilfredo and all those guys.
Great musicians.
I learned a lot. I learned a lot from them too. I mean, especially Wilfredo.
Yeah.
Because I saw Wilfredo more than I did Alex.
Yeah. They think of Alex more as a percussionist. Alex is a monster drum set player.
Yeah.
That was really his core of what he is, which was powerful. And Wilfredo Reyes Sr., still going strong. I had the chance to sit down and interview him. I've known him for many, many years. It's incredible that he still has the passion, the strength, the power, still doing it.
Hey, we're musicians. What else are we going to do?
Yeah, what else are we going to do? Absolutely.
This is what we do.
That's a great line. In closing, Julio, we have these wonderful young musicians that are listening to you, that are influential in wanting to play bass or any instrument or what it is. In closing, what would you say to this next generation and what they should be prepared for and what they should learn for having a career in the music industry?
Oh, wow. What they should learn. Everything. Every style of music.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like it, if you really look deep into it, you're going to find something you're going to like.
Yeah.
At first you listen to some, but if you really analyze it, there's something in there. And you can use that to play other styles of music. And just hear everybody, hear the old guys. I mean, they did it. If they hadn't done what they did, my opinion is play more from the heart.
Yeah.
You know, instead of that technique is great. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's great to have. You know, I have it. I used to do all. I do all that. You know?
Yeah.
But what Charlie Parker said is true. Learn everything, all your scales, all the music, and when you go play, forget all that.
When you step on that foot on that stage, forget it all.
Yeah, just let go and from here, because music is from here.
Yeah,
It's not from here.
Well, beautiful, beautiful. Julio, let me tell you something. You are really personifying great music. You play great music. You always have a great feel. You play deeply from your heart all the time. And what I've heard you do, it's just fantastic. You're continuing to do it. And for that, we thank you so much here at the
Thank you.
Sessions. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Julio.
very much.
Great job.